My girlfriend was a renowned, prodigy painter, showered with countless awards. And I, though I worked to support her studies, couldn't even tell a Van Gogh from a Picasso. Many said we didn't match, but she didn't think so. She painted my back in a piece called Beloved, declaring our love to the world. But later, the person in her paintings was no longer me, but another man with the same passions, a man she spoke of incessantly. I asked her why, and she replied, "You can't stop me from reaching for someone better, can you?" In that moment, I knew. We had reached our end. It was already past 10 at night. I stood opposite the floor-to-ceiling windows of a restaurant in France, holding a cake, and blankly watched the two figures inside, sitting across from each other, conversing happily. The man, dressed in a black suit, looked very familiar. It was Gogh, a painter currently rising to fame. He cut his steak into pieces, placing them in front of the woman. Then he said something that made the woman across from him giggle. That woman was my girlfriend of 10 years, Chloe. A bittersweet pain spread through my chest. I picked up my phone, then set it down, and after several repetitions, I finally decided to call Chloe. When Chloe heard the ringtone, she instinctively glanced at her phone. Her brow furrowed. She stood up, moved away, phone in hand. "Baby, why are you calling me?" I bit my lip. There were so many things I wanted to ask, but in the end, I just managed a casual question. "What are you doing?" Even after witnessing this scene, I still didn't want to let go, or rather, I wanted to hear Chloe's explanation. She just glanced in Jiangyu's direction and then told me, "I'm at home. I'm tired after my exhibition today and want to rest early." Oh. I forced back the sourness in my heart and replied. Chloe seemed to sense something and asked me, "What's wrong, baby? Are you unhappy today?" "No, I'm just a little tired." I answered her quickly and hung up. Chloe didn't send me a message. She returned to her seat and continued to eat and laugh with Jiangyu. I lowered my head, stood there for a while, and then threw the cake into the trash can nearby. We were separated by just a wall. Yet at that moment, I felt an unbridgeable chasm had opened between us. Chloe and I had known each other since we were very young. We weren't just neighbors. Our parents had worked together. Our relationship was particularly close. Even back then, she had shown talent in painting. She represented our school in competitions many times and had won awards. Unfortunately, her parents died in a car crash when she was 18. I watched her fall into the mud, only to see her emerge from the depths with blossoms. Soon after, we were together. She was like a heroine in a novel. She was strong and made my heart ache, so I stayed by her side in her most desperate moments, telling her, "Don't be afraid. You still have me." But painting was an incredibly expensive hobby. I worked part-time jobs and gave her everything that my parents had given me, hoping she could continue to pursue her dream, not be crushed by reality. "Thank you, Alex." Chloe looked at me with red eyes, holding my hand tightly. "I will not let you down. I promise I will work hard." Later, she did. She was recognized by a famous painter abroad who took her in as a protege. And when she was just 18, she held her own solo exhibition. In an instant, the talented girl I knew was recognized by more and more people and entered the public eye completely. Chloe was a hit. Her social media was full of our pictures, including some that I had taken secretly while working. Many people questioned, "That guy is so lucky. He doesn't match Chloe at all. They are from two different worlds." I couldn't argue. But that day, she posted a painting. It was of my back. She named the painting Beloved and wrote, "Without him, I wouldn't be who I am today. I don't deserve someone as wonderful as him." She told me, "Don't listen to what people online are saying. Look at what I do." At the time, I firmly believed that we would continue together. I would work harder, catch up to her, stand side by side with her. But when did we change? Was it when she casually mentioned the name Jiangyu more and more? Was it when she got busier and busier, and our daily calls became weekly calls? Or was there already a sign even before then? It was only 10 short years. When I bought a plane ticket on a whim and came to France alone to surprise her at her exhibition, she was standing next to Jiangyu. Everyone was admiring how well matched they were, and I could only watch them from a distance, like an observer. In that moment, I suddenly felt like a clown, completely laughable. I returned to my country and didn't message Chloe for several days. I didn't reply to her messages either. Perhaps I needed time to cool off. A week later, I finished work and saw Chloe standing at the entrance of my office building. Her face was tired, but her eyes lit up the moment she saw me. She immediately came over to me. "Baby, why haven't you been replying to my messages lately? Did I do something wrong?" I looked at her face and was lost in thought for a moment, not saying a word. Did she do something wrong? She had just eaten with a friend, hadn't told me. Was that wrong? "Baby." Chloe tried to take my hand. Just then, her phone started to ring. "I saw you on the caller ID. So intimate. What's wrong?" Her voice was as gentle as it used to be when she spoke to me. A hurried voice came from the other end. "Chloe, I had a car accident. Before the voice finished, the line went dead. The gentleness on Chloe's face disappeared. It was replaced by worry and anxiety. She turned around and left almost instinctively, completely forgetting about me standing in front of her and forgetting why she had returned. I stood there. My legs felt stiff. A message notification popped up on my phone. "Baby, Jiangyu had a car accident. I need to go check on him. He helped me a lot when I first arrived in France, so I can't leave him. And wait for me. I'll come back to see you when I'm done. Don't be mad at me." Looking at Chloe's message, I felt that the stone that had been blocking my heart had finally disappeared. Which one was more important to her had become clear through each test, hadn't it? With that thought, I added Chloe to my blacklist. I knew. We had reached the end. For a long time, Chloe and I didn't contact each other. She wouldn't receive my messages, but I frequently saw her on various video apps. She won another award. She was at some event with Jiangyu. Even when I selected not interested, I still kept seeing those posts. It was incredibly annoying. Until it was almost Chinese New Year, my mother called me. "Will you be coming home with Chloe for the New Year?" I suppressed the bitterness in my heart and decided to not tell my mother the truth. It might not happen this year. Her exhibition is quite busy over there. "Oh, I see." My mother responded and told me, "It's not easy for Chloe to be overseas alone. You have to help her more, contact her often, so nothing bad happens." After the call, my repressed emotions finally exploded. I drank all night, and then I cried and threw up, crouched by the toilet. I just didn't understand. Was loving someone so difficult? My phone pushed notifications of Chloe and Jiangyu's couple photos. Without me, Chloe seemed to have no more restraint and was becoming more intimate with Jiangyu, holding hands. I thought I'd never see her again, but unexpectedly, when I returned home for the new year, I saw her again. Chloe was as she had always been, acting as if nothing had happened. She was in the kitchen helping my mother with cooking. My mother rejected her smilingly. "These are your painting hands. How can you cook? In the future, when you and Alex get married, let him cook." My heart was bitter. My mother didn't know that there was no future for us. After dinner, Chloe came over to take my hand. "Let's go shopping, now that we're full." I almost instinctively avoided her hand and looked at her. "I think we've already broken up." Chloe's face froze. Then, she looked at me with apology and guilt. "I know you were angry about what happened last time, but Jiangyu helped me a lot, so I couldn't ignore it when he had a car accident. I believe you're not petty and you will understand, right? It wasn't good that I've been neglecting you lately. Don't be angry. Come here." She then tried to hug me. Every time she made me angry in the past, she would use this trick. As long as she pouted and asked for a hug, I wouldn't be angry anymore. But now, all I could think was, did she use the same trick on Jiangyu? I avoided her again. Chloe's face turned pale. She asked me with disbelief, "Alex, are you really breaking up with me?" I just looked at her silently without saying anything. "I told you that I didn't mean to neglect you or leave you for Jiangyu, but it was a car accident. What would I do if something happened to him? Alex, can you please stop being unreasonable? You weren't like this before. You were kind and generous." Listening to Chloe's accusations, my hand clenched tightly. The pain snapped me back to reality. She had long forgotten that she had stood in front of me, telling the whole world that I was her beloved when she was facing the gossip. You don't need to care about those rumors online. They're just saying whatever they want. You didn't care about them before, did you? How could I not have cared? No man would not care, but Chloe was firmly standing in front of me back then. Listening to her endless words, I interrupted her. Where were you when I called you last time? Chloe looked a little flustered. I was at home. Didn't I tell you that? Don't you believe me? I chuckled. You were having a candlelit dinner with Jiangyu. Chloe stopped talking. She looked at me with disbelief, as if she was curious about how I found out. I told the truth. I was standing in front of the restaurant window with the cake I bought for you. You were happily chatting with him and looked annoyed when I called. You knew? Chloe wanted to say something, but I interrupted her again. The fluster on her face gradually changed to relief, as if everything had finally been exposed and she no longer needed to pretend. Why? What do you mean, why? I forced back the pain in my heart. Why did you betray me? Chloe bit her lip and said, You can't stop me from reaching for someone better, can you? I froze. I once saw a post online titled, My boyfriend is a delivery guy, supporting my university education. Now I'm graduating. Should I break up with him? I had joked to her. Will you feel like I'm not good enough for you one day and break up with me? Impossible. She had looked at me seriously. Unless you abandon me, I will never leave you. And now, she was standing in front of me, telling me, You can't stop me from reaching for someone better, can you? Seeing me stunned, Chloe said with a little guilt, I thought I could accept staying with you for life, but... She looked at me and continued, But you already know now. I don't think there's any way for us to continue. I did some calculations the other day. I spent about 1.5 million of your money these years. I will repay you double once I get the payment from my exhibition. Consider it your compensation. Compensation? I suddenly felt like laughing, looking at the face that was familiar but yet foreign to me. 10 years. My 10 years, the opportunity one had to study abroad, the youth I gave up, all of my love. How could they be compensated? I know you can't accept it, but I'm sorry. Just think of me as a scum, okay? Chloe didn't dare to look at me. I'm leaving first. I will transfer the money to your card. I'm sorry. Then she turned around and left. 2 days later, $3 million were transferred to my account. There was also a message from Chloe. I know I'm the one who wronged you, but we had a relationship for so many years, and I hope we can settle this between us and not spread it out. Was she worried that I would expose her? Looking at the message, I suddenly didn't feel anything anymore. The source of my long-lasting pain seemed to have disappeared in that instant. 10 years. I hadn't seen what kind of person she really was, and she had never trusted me either. It was laughable. So I accepted the $3 million that she had returned, as it was what I deserved. Then I contacted the professor who had once thought highly of me and used the money to continue studying abroad. The life and social connections I had sacrificed returned to me. I gradually became busy but fulfilled. The things I had fallen behind were slowly made up for with my time and effort. Gradually, I became a key member of my professor's team. Although I didn't want to care, news of Chloe still reached me from time to time. My phone would often push notifications about her and Jiangyu having exhibitions together and selling paintings for exorbitant prices. Countless people were chasing after them. They had become the most famous golden couple in the art circle. There were numerous CP fans. They had even created a couple's account to post about their daily dates. Comparing her current actions to when she was with me, Chloe was now doing even more. My friends who knew us were indignant. What a scumbag. How can she be showing off her love like that? Would she be where she is now if it wasn't for you? I just smiled. I couldn't stir up any emotions in my heart anymore. I was busy studying and making money and had no time to care about my ex-girlfriend showing off her love. One day, when I was coming out of the lab, a friend excitedly found me. Alex, you need to see this. Your ex-girlfriend's karma has come. My friend showed me his phone. Chloe's name was first on the trending list. However, this time, it wasn't praise, but criticism. Genius painter Chloe plagiarized new work. When I clicked in, I saw that Chloe's new painting, Night Sky, had over 80% similarity to a painting called Stars by a rising local painter. The plagiarism was undeniable. The previous praise had turned into endless abuse. Countless people were demanding that Chloe get out of the art circle. A copycat dares to paint? Damn it. I've been a fan for so long. She was a copycat all along. In an instant, every major platform published news about Chloe's plagiarism. The internet spread the news quickly. Many people who had bought her paintings were requesting refunds. She deserves it. My friend liked every negative comment. But this had nothing to do with me. I didn't even care. From the moment we had broken up, Chloe and I had nothing to do with each other. I met Chloe again when I went home for the new year. She was not as energetic as she once had been. She was wearing a mask. Her face was tired and pale. She was standing at my door, hesitant. My mother blocked the door, glaring at her angrily. How dare you show your face here? Wasn't my Alex good enough to you? He gave you all the money he made, even more than he gave to me as his mother. Also, you could study painting. And you just dumped him after you became famous. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. If I had known you would turn out like this, I wouldn't have let Alex get involved with you. My parents knew that we had broken up. It was impossible for them not to have seen all the lovey-dovey videos of Chloe online. Don't you think that $3 million can pay off everything that Alex has done for you? It's something that money can never buy. My mother was angry. She was always nice to Chloe. She had treated her like her own daughter. She always bought things for both Alex and Chloe. She never would have spoken to Chloe like this. Chloe stood there with red eyes, and she looked almost exactly the same as when she had fallen into despair many years ago. She seemed to have remembered the past 10 years. Tears fell to the ground. Back then, she had promised me confidently, if I become a famous painter and make a lot of money, we'll get married and we'll be together forever. Then she had asked me carefully, I will never betray you. So, can you please not abandon me? I had truly believed that she had never thought about leaving at that time. Unfortunately, people change. When Chloe raised her head, she saw me. Her eyes were filled with guilt. She held out her hand, hoping that I would hold it, just like countless times before. But I just walked past her without even glancing at her. Alex. Chloe's voice was full of tears. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I've already broken up with Jiangyu. Can you? No. I looked at her with indifference. Please don't disturb my family and my life anymore. I'm sorry. Chloe squatted on the ground, crying miserably, feeling helpless. It was really my fault in the past. I was blinded by the outside world and ignored how good you were to me. Jiangyu broke up with me right away after I was accused of plagiarism. If it were you, you would be by my side, right? I didn't answer. The door was slammed shut, completely isolating her. It was a lie to say that I didn't hate her. I hated her for betraying my love. Even now, I still can't convince myself to love someone else. She had almost taken away my ability to love. So, I couldn't forgive her, and it was impossible for me to get back together with her. Time passed little by little. Chloe seemed to have stayed in the country. She would wait for me on my usual route every day, begging me to get back together. I found it annoying. Soon, when it was clear that Chloe had completely lost her reputation, some friends who knew about my past with Chloe finally couldn't hold back and exposed our past online. Now it was good. Jiangyu, who had been somewhat famous, was also being attacked. After all, he was just a homewrecker. Jiangyu still tried to defend himself online. But Chloe posted online and admitted her mistakes, solidifying his role as a homewrecker. The internet was like that, and the art circle was even more so. Everyone could paint, and they didn't need a disreputable painter. Jiangyu was quickly eliminated. Chloe found me again. Now, Jiangyu has paid the price, so have I. She looked at me miserably. Please, Alex. We've been together for so many years. Can you give me one more chance? She held out something to me. I looked at it instinctively. It was the roasted sweet potato that we used to eat together after school. It was winter. I would always buy one and give it to her. How long had it been since I thought of those memories? I reached for the roasted sweet potato. Chloe's eyes lit up, but the next moment, I threw the sweet potato into the trash can next to me, just like when I threw away the cake. Chloe's eyes dimmed again. I said, It's not possible, Chloe. From the moment you lied to me, There was never a chance for us. Please don't show up in front of me again. I will find it annoying. Chloe was completely desperate. I had never seen her look like that before. She didn't come to find me again. Later, I heard from a friend that Chloe had found a job again. She was just an employee at a small company. I had nothing to do with her. The weather was getting warmer and spring arrived. A long time later, I asked myself, what if I could do it all over again? I answered in my heart, if I could do it again, I hoped I would have never met her.